Did you find yourself personally affected by the weather back in 2024? Well, I think we all have. So before we get too deep into 2025, let's take a look back at some of the most notable weather events of last year. On March 1st of 2024, a line of thunderstorms rolled through the Central Valley and into the foothills, and it ended up producing an EF0 tornado that touched down in one of the elementary schools in Madera County. This touchdown was confirmed by the National Weather Service in Hanford after a photo was sent to them of the actual funnel making contact with the ground. On April 8th, parts of the United States got to see a total solar eclipse as the moon's shadow passed over the sun in totality. Here in Fresno, we were able to see a partial solar eclipse with about 40% coverage. But hey, that's still pretty cool. And do you remember back in July when all of our iPhones were forecasting a high temperature of 121 or 120 degrees about 9 days away from the forecasted Saturday? I'd say this was hands down the most interesting morning that I've ever had working in TV, when all of my coworkers and friends were literally texting me as the morning was going on, wondering if this was true. And I had to make this graphic for TV just to explain that that was probably not going to be the case. So the actual high temperature for that day ended up being about 112 degrees, which is extremely hot, don't get me wrong, but of course not quite 120, and we actually ended up being the hottest on record for the month of July when we hit 114 degrees on that next Sunday. Now, I know this is also technically considered to be space weather, but an honorable mention for on October 11th when a very strong geomagnetic storm occurred and it created the northern lights to be able to be visible across portions of Central California as long as you've had a long exposure camera. This photo was taken in Madera County on that night by Monica Whitaker. Is it just me, or was it incredibly foggy this winter? I've had people say to me that they've lived here in the Central Valley for years and they've never seen it as bad as what we have seen this season, specifically that week right around Thanksgiving. Let me know if I missed any that you remember to be very notable across Central California, and let's see what 2025 brings.